Lesson 24 in our Ready Math book is all about tell and write time. And we're going to use both types of clocks, what we call digital and what we call analog. All right, so there's two types of clocks, and you might see one or both of them in your classroom or around your house. If you think about it, sometimes on maybe your kitchen appliances, like maybe the microwave, or on the maybe the DVD or VCR player or something near your television, you might see it digitally, or maybe an alarm clock. We see it in a digital format where the digits, we use those terms digits. We see the digital clock, the digits on our clock are there. Or this is what we call analog, and this was our original method of telling time with using the hands on the clock. All right, so this clock, both of them show the exact same time. So let's review what we know about the analog clock. So the analog clock is in a circle, and it does start up here, and it goes numbers 1 all the way around to 12. All right, and if we think about times of day, we know that when we get to 12 o'clock, like noon, probably about the time or it might be after you've gone to lunch, then we start back over at 1 again. So we use that 12 hours, and we go around the clock twice, in the morning and then in the evening. So we have what we call AM and PM. All right. So in this analog clock, we have two hands, and the hands on the clock point to the hours and the minutes. So the hour hand is the shorter hand, and you'll notice here it kind of goes in between these numbers. It takes 12 hours for that little hand to go all the way around. All right, so that little hand takes a whole 12 hours. Each hour it jumps from between the two numbers. So from midnight to 1 a.m. it moves here, from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. and so on. The longer hand is our minute hand. All right, so that's our minute hand, and it makes a circle every hour. So the hour hand makes a circle every 12 hours. The minute hand makes a circle every hour. And so as it moves, it's going to move a little bit quicker around our circle. And as it moves, it pushes our hour hand just a little bit at a time. All right. So we use both of those hands to help us read a clock and know what time it is. And so we start with the hour hand, and we look to see where it's pointing. So you'll see that this hour hand is pointing between 7 and 8. So remember, we start here and work our way around. And so until the hour hand gets to the 8, it's still part of the 7 o'clock hour. So it's sometime between 7 and 8, okay, because it comes between those two numbers on the clock. Then we use our minute hand to actually look at where it's pointing. So if you look at this, it looks like it's between 7 and 8, so it's 7 something. Now, it's not 7-4, all right, because when we're looking at our minute hand, you'll notice here, kind of like a number line, we have all these little marks in between, and there's actually 5 of them for every number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so every time we get to a number, we're actually moving 5 little minutes. So when we think about our minute hand, we're going to skip count by 5s to help us figure out the time, because it saves us from counting all of these. So we go 5, 10, 15, 20. All right, and we could label it while we're learning how to read the clock. We could label this as 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It looks like a 16, but that's a 10. Let me fix that for us. So 5, 10, 15, 20. You can help me keep going. We have 25 and 30 is halfway. Then 35 at 7, 40, 45 here at 9, 50, 55. And then we get back up here to the 12 and we go to 60, because there are 60 minutes in an hour. All right, so looking at, again, our hour hand is between 7 and 8. And then we look at our minute hand and we can skip count 5, 10, 15. It's right here at 20. So the time is 7:20. And that's what's showing us down here on our analog clock is 7:20. All right. So now we've reviewed what we know about clocks. Let's look at two problems where we're going to label either the analog clock or the digital clock. So let's start here at the top. We have the analog clock. And again, remember, we look at the hour hand first. So the hour hand is the short one. It's between 8 and 9. So I know that it is going to be still 8 o'clock something, 8 something, because it did not make it to the 9 yet. All right. Then I'll look at the minute hand. The minute hand is pointing right at 7. So it's pointing exactly at a number. It makes it a little bit easier because, again, we can just skip count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So this time is 8:35. All right. Now, we can't tell from an analog clock if it's morning or if it's night. So we don't know if it's AM or PM because we're reading this clock and it doesn't include AM or PM. All right. Let's look at this problem down here below. It has the analog clock as 1:40 p.m. So 1:40 in the afternoon. So we would still have a couple of hours of school left, all right? But we want to draw the clock to match. Now, I want to tell you right now, it's not going to look very pretty as I draw this, so you'll just have to kind of give me some credit and some slack right here, all right? So it's 1:40, so I know that my hour hand has to be between the 1 and the 2. Now, 40 is getting close to the end of the hour, so it might be a little bit closer to 2 than it is to 1. So there's my hour hand. It might be a little bit longer than it needs to be. All right, but there's my hour hand. And then I'm going to draw my minute hand to 40. So again, we've been skip counting by 5s to find our way around. Remember that halfway is 30. So I could start here and say 30, 35, 40. And so 140 means it would be pointing. Again, sorry, that's a little messy. But we're pointing at the 8 exactly. All right. So practice with yourself. Maybe you need to practice looking at, maybe you have an analog clock in your classroom, or if you're on your Chromebook or you're looking at a computer, you might have a digital clock. Practice with yourself looking at both and seeing if you can tell what time it is. The analog clock is a little bit harder than the digital one.